Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 6 of Building Adventure Realm. Today we are building a suspended roller coaster, which I am going to be calling Treetop Flyers because it flies above the treetops. So this was a pretty simple one to build. It was pretty quick. So I wanted it to be an exciting roller coaster with a lot of fear factor from, well, in suspended roller coasters when I'm on them, I tend to keep thinking my legs and my feet are going to be smacking off pillars and buildings and things. So I wanted to have that effect in the game. So it zooms and flies above the treetops with lots of twists and turns. There's not a lot of ups and downs, it's more twisty turny, sort of trying to simulate an exotic bird flying through the trees in the jungle. That's what my thought was going to. So I had it zooming around the park. I wanted it to fly past the waterfall and go through the river. Not through the river, above the river, sort of getting low and close to it so that in the future if I were to put spraying effects or misting effects, then the riders would get wet, because that's the kind of thing that would happen in a real theme park. So I'm just finishing off the track here. It's a very simple track, pretty much a rough figure of 8. It goes around, does some swooping, and then goes back to the station. There's only one train running on here. I did want to put in a block section so that we could get 2 trains running, but I forgot as I was building it, and I couldn't find a straight piece of track to put it in. It would make sense for it to be here just at the end before you get back to the station, but yeah, I didn't. So it's just running the one train at the moment. It's not a particularly tall roller coaster, but it works. It makes its way around the track. I tried to smooth it out because there's a little bit at the end that it just kind of whips you back into the station. But, it works. It does what it does, and the guests go on it. They're not too scared, it's not too rough. So yeah, I'm going through now, just giving it some final touches, making it smooth, and I'm just trying to smooth out that last corner. I did manage to. It does go slightly outside of the boundaries of the jungle zone, but who cares? Again, the most time consuming part of this was putting in the scenery and the landscaping and the station house. So for the station house, I wanted it to kind of have like a lumberjack sort of feel, sort of the people that have been deforesting the place. It doesn't have a particularly long queue line either, so it will fill up quite quickly. And then I painted the tracks and the pillars to try and blend it into the forest, but it's not precise, so it's green. And then I wanted the train to be the colour of exotic birds, so there's reds and yellows and blues and purples. So now we're going into building the station house. So the station house is lots of wood. I was going to try and do like a canopy, but I gave up on that idea pretty quickly. So this is me attempting to build a kind of canopy structure with columns and planks and things. And I did have a play about with the XYZ axis on this one to get some beams going across the top of the canopy. I say canopy, the structure. So my next thought was, well, we'll just make it look like a warehouse where there's lots of things going in and out, so it's very open and airy. So that's what I'm building just now. It's almost like a shed for lumberjacks and foresters. So yeah, I'm realising that I do like to use wood a lot, but you're in a jungle, you're surrounded by trees. The most abundant resource you've got for building is wood. So that's what I've done. So I would go on this roller coaster. It's short, it's fun, it's fast, and you think you're gonna die. What more could you want in a roller coaster? So yeah, I may go back in and add in a block section so that two trains can be running because it does get quite busy. So I'm just finishing off adding in the wooden sides, and then I'll do some roofing and some decorating. So I've put in lots of these archways because I imagine that they'll have pulleys and cranes and hooks and things to bring the logs in for processing, and the log cutter would be inside where the roller coaster is, and then the planks would go out the other end. So that's the kind of feel I was going for. How would you have designed this station? Would you have gone for the lumberjack feel, or I did kind of consider going down the aviary route and having bird cages and everything in it, but I went for the lumberjack feel, which seems to work quite nice. I'm getting a bit more adventurous with these builds. I'm adding lots more details inside these station houses now, especially when I start playing about with the XYZ axis, because I was quite proud of myself that I managed to do that and get these beams going across the way and playing about with angles snapping and position snapping. So I'm getting more confident. So hopefully that means the actual station houses builds will be more exciting than just a box with a roof on top. So this is me attempting to play about with the different axes. So here we go, I've managed it. And I realised the easiest way to do this is to use the duplicate tool, but the advanced duplicate, so that you're actually, yeah. So I managed to build a whole beam across a building, which means I can go back in and add vines now because I know what I'm doing with that. So yeah, look at that, using the advanced move tools. Oh, it's great. And then I realised you can do shift click to select multiple items to duplicate, and that just made it so much quicker. I can't believe I hadn't played about with these tools before, because yeah, they're pretty simple to use. So I tried to use roof trims for this so that the roof hung over the building, but I realised they didn't match up with the building. So I got rid of the roof trims because they weren't doing it for me. And I just put on a normal roof. So even though I can now build things going horizontally across things without snapping, I still need to work on my roofing skills. But hopefully, knowing how to do all this stuff now means that in the next episode where I build a dark ride going through a temple, I'm going to have a lot more skills that I can use to do that. Now, I was going to put in a chandelier, but I gave up on the chandelier and just stuck with hooks and pulleys and things. So it's still not the most exciting building inside, but I have developed a new skill, and I even put windows and plant boxes on the outside so that I could play about with that advanced move tool and advanced duplicate tool and everything. So I'm impressed with that. I'm proud of myself for that. So this is me putting in the windows, and there we go. It was so quick and actually so simple. I can't believe I didn't do it beforehand. I mean, I'm proud of myself. I'm impressed. I hope someone out there is as well, because from where I was in the first episode, building a very simple castle with very little decor, to where I am now, I think over the course of 6 episodes I have improved. My skills have got better. And hopefully, by the end of this theme park, I will be on the verge. I'm not going to say I'm going to be a pro, but I'll be on the verge of being a very skilled builder in this game. So I was going to put a weather vane on, and I even started playing about with it, and then I realised it's got a cowboy on top, and that doesn't fit into the jungle zone, so I got rid of that. And I was going to put, and what I did instead was a chimney. Because I would imagine the loggers would have a chimney and a fire in the building, even though I didn't put one in on the inside. And then I brought out the good old lanterns, and then it was time to put some props down on the outside. So for some reason I put a fruit stand indoors in this logger's cabin, but you know, they need to eat as well, and they're in a jungle, and there would be an abundance of fruit and vegetables about in the jungle, surely. I mean, some of the trees I've been putting down are called banana palms, so I'd imagine there's pineapples, bananas and everything. And then I played about with the advanced move tools to put some rope on the wall, which that's how you do vines, I'm guessing. I put another crane outside and some more rope on a roll, because you can never have too much rope. And then I found scaffolding. I was going to put a ladder, but I got rid of the ladder and went for some wooden rope scaffolding just on the side of the building, like they've been fixing up the roof, and that's why the corners have a trim. The corners don't have a trim, and the other one does. And then we got into the landscaping. So there wasn't as much landscaping to do for this one as there was for the rapid rivers, because it's going over a place that's already done. But I did add some extra in, and just really filling in this jungle space now, so it is starting to fill up and feel like a jungle. And I'm hoping that my computer is going to be able to cope with the sheer number of assets that there are, because I am noticing now that this save is taking longer and longer to load up. But I do have a gaming computer, and if I need to upgrade some parts, I'll upgrade some parts. So I'm trying to get trees as close to the track as possible, but I do need to go in and move some of them, because when I rode the ride, which you'll see at the end of the video, you do actually get smacked in the face by branches and leaves, so I do need to do some tweaking with the trees, or just ignore it and pretend it isn't happening. So I'm now putting in lots of these bushes and leaves and things around the walk-in. I never noticed it before, but when the guests are walking through, they smile and look at the plants, so it's a nice little touch. So yeah, adding in lots more trees, trying to fill the track, adding in those sunken bamboo so it looks like the forest floor or the jungle floor is just covered and living. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. And I've brought that all the way over to that statue. And then added in some smaller trees. And some trees as close to the track as I can get. And yeah, it's really filled up and it's looking good. So yeah, some final touches, some big Brazil nut trees as close to that track as possible. That's where you smack your face and your arms and your legs off trees. So yeah. And it should add some more excitement to the rapids ride as well. And yeah, I need to repaint the track so that it blends in a bit more. And then I got my favourite lights to put around the walkway, just to light it up in the evenings. And yeah, this area is really coming together. and this was the last part that I spent a bit too long on. I was going to use this arch for the sign onto the ride until I realised it's very, very short. So I got rid of that one. And then I tried to find another one, and I was going to use this one, but it didn't quite fit in. So I got quite far with this one, placing a sign on top of the arch, but then the arch was too far away, so I tried to move it, and then I deleted it, and then I fell out with it. I repositioned it, just got rid of it and went for this one, a nice wooden one. And yeah, I think this one works quite nicely. Added in the wooden sign, made sure I got it as close and as part of it as possible, and then added the name, Treetop Flyers. Spent some time deciding on a font, and there we go, all done. So let's ride it. So walking down the queue line, it's quite a nice lush sort of queue line onto the Treetop Flyers. It's very full of plants, it's very busy. And then you get to the station. Watermelon looks like it's going to go off because it's cut over and sitting out this humid heat. To add some more decoration into it. Multiple of my vendors have quit, and I don't get it. How do you keep your vendors happy? Can someone please let me know? Okay, here we go. I did I do like some of the shoulder restraints. I do feel a lot safer. I've been on some of those coasters that go upside down and just have a lap bar and a seatbelt. I know they're safe and can't fail, but I still, yeah. So this has no inversions, but you do get to 90 degrees tilt backwards.